Here we have a question from Lee, who's asking a follow-up question for something I made for him before. He had this title that he had found and that he would like to recreate in Filmora. So I built the title for him. But now his question is, he would like to reuse that title over and over again. And is there some way that he can reuse it without actually have to construct the whole thing from scratch each time? So let's first look at what we made, and then let's show him how to make it reusable. So here's Lee's original question and my response to it and the video I made for him. And I'm going to leave a link to this video in the description of the YouTube video that I'm making right now. So if anybody wants to see how we create part 1, they can check that video out. And in this video, we're mainly going to talk about how to make it reusable. But just outside the frame that you're seeing here, I have the play button, so I'm just going to play a brief clip of his. He's got this text coming in, and he's got a video in the background with some music. It blows up, it disappears, and so forth. And anyway, that was his version of it. And so here is the video that I created for him, and the one that I will add a link to, building your own custom title effect. You can search it on my channel. And since we had 58 views of this in just 2 weeks, there's obviously some interest out there. We had 4 likes. Okay, so I'm a small channel. What can I say? Anyway, well, briefly, in here we describe how to create the title. And I'm not going to go through all of that. I'm just going to show you that this was my response to Lee's question. Okay, we'll just skip ahead, and you can see I go through the steps of copying the effects in his original question, and we come up with a way that he can do it. And he was able, with a little bit of issues, he was able to actually make it work. So anyway, that's step 1. And now we're going to show how to make it reusable. As I said, I will be leaving a link to this video in the description of the video that I'm making right now. So if anybody wants to see part 1, they can do that. There's only one difference between what we created in video number 1 versus what we have here in video number 2, where we're attempted to make it reusable. And because Lee was talking about making it reusable and changing the titles, I thought rather than having just one text element where we made the second line smaller or smaller font, let's put 2 text elements in there, one for the top and one for the bottom. And that way, in case he doesn't want to use the second line in a particular reuse of this title element, he could simply blank it out there. And it would not appear within his video. So with that in mind, what we did was we combined all of these things. We created a compound clip. So let's make our new reusable compound clip. Since the video is going to be different each time, we're not going to include the video in our compound clip. So we're going to just hold down the Control key, and we're going to select each one of the elements, including the sound element that we're going to build into the compound clip. And we're going to right click on that, and we're going to create our compound clip. And we'll call it My Custom Title. You can see that it grabbed the audio track and it packed it right in with the rest of the stuff that we have up here. Now, there's one thing missing in this particular element, of course, and that is we can't see the underlying video. And what makes the underlying video visible, of course, is the compositing. When we see the compositing is turned on, and we change it from normal to multiply. And as soon as we do that, voila, the underlying video is now visible. And all of the other elements we have where the text is fading in, we have where the text is getting larger, and then the very last second we have the part where the black starts to fade. All of those elements are packed inside of this compound clip. That's great. Now, in my first go around of trying to make this video for Lee, the one I'm making here tonight, the easy way I would have said to get it done is to get it up into editing presets, compound clips. You have nothing up there now. And let me just close that up again. If you right click on a compound clip, you can, once you have a compound clip on the timeline, you will have this save as compound clip custom. And to me, that would have meant that I could now reuse that element again and again and again. And I can, but for one problem. And we'll just move to our second video, shift home, and I'm going to click the plus sign. And that, well, okay, first of all, it bounced down to this line. And let me just do Ctrl-Z because I should have explained what to do so that this doesn't happen. But it's good that it happens so that you can see what you missed and what you need to do. So Ctrl-Z or Z takes it away. In order to get it to land on the second video line, we click on a blank spot within the track header, and you can see that it turns light gray. That means anything we select in the media pane will go to this selected track and no other track. Okay, I could also do this here, turn this on, but this is something that even with the magnetic line turned on, it would still bounce down here if I did not select this one. Okay, so now I've selected this one, and I'm just going to get rid of this that was already added to the timeline, which we aren't using. We're going to go back into our editing presets, and this is all to show you something not to do. I'm going to show you the correct way in the end, but I want to show you if you did this, what goes wrong, and I'm going to report this to Wondershare, and I hope that they will fix it. So now we are here, and we're ready to place our custom title for a second time onto the line. And I'm going to click the plus sign, and here it is. Okay, so everything works except for one thing. You'll notice that over here in the blend mode, it is reverted back to normal, whereas the original one that we saved as our custom is in the blend mode. And then let's just move over here again and select it, and you'll see that that one effect did not take when we saved it into the editing presets compound clip. That didn't get put in there. So we can't, for the time being, use this method to reuse it. The other thing you might be saying to yourself is, well, why the heck don't you just go in, go here and then right click and then copy and then go over to wherever and paste. I mean, it seems like that would work. But here's the thing. When you do that and you change something in here, it will also change it over here. Let's just try it. We'll go in here and we'll change the title, and we'll say, okay, we've got to put it in someplace where we can see it. And we'll just change this text here. Let's go up here, test. Okay, so now we put in the word test, and we're going to go ahead back here, and let's go back, and we can see indeed the word test. Let's go back over here and see what we have. And look at that, the word test now appears here. However, with using the compound clip from here, the word test doesn't appear. So this just explains to you why you can't copy it from the timeline from one place to another, because it's the same object, and when you change something in the object, all occurrences of that object is going to get changed, and that's not what we want. That does not make it reusable. Now, unfortunately, as of this version here, and I'm going to show you what version I'm on, 14.7.4. This is a bug in the system, and I'm going to go ahead and report it to Wondershare when I have a chance. But basically, it should have saved that one effect, multiply, which it did not do. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It reverted it to normal. Now we could go in here and manually turn it back to multiply and it would be okay. But we don't want to do that every time. So here's how we're going to solve that problem and still make this title reusable. Let's get rid of it here. And let's just delete it here. Let's go up here. You see, even though we deleted it here on the timeline, it still appears here. So let's delete it. Well, we can't delete it from here, but we can delete it from the preset because we're not going to need it in there. And we're going to go back to our Media tab folder, and we're going to see that indeed it appears twice. Here is the one that that appears on the timeline. Here's the one that doesn't appear on the timeline. But when we look here, we see that they both appear. So if we delete this one from here, it's no longer going to appear in the drop-down list. Okay, that's just a little side issue. And hopefully I made it perfectly clear that right-clicking on it and creating or saving it as a compound custom clip will not work if you have an effect such as the blend mode applied to the compound clip in general. It does not seem to get saved. So finally, we're at the end where we're going to actually make it reproducible multiple times. Since we can't do it here, we're going to do it up here in templates. So we have it selected. Now the thing about this, when we do save it as a custom template, which is what we're going to do, we're going to go to Mine, and we're going to go down to Custom, and we're going to hit this button. But let's keep in mind, we don't want these other things on the timeline, because whatever is on the timeline gets included. And we don't want this to appear every time. We simply want this to appear. So we're going to go ahead and delete those two. And there, look at that, I deleted them all. And you know why? It's because I have the magnetic timeline on. I'm going to turn the magnetic timeline off. Now I'm going to select these two, and I'm going to hit the delete key, and it leaves just what we want. So this, in fact, is what we want for our custom title. This is the only thing we want it sitting on there. And mind you, when we double click on it, video track number 1 is blank because that's reserved for the use of our underlying video, okay? That's why that's there. But anyway, we're going to go back to the main timeline. We have it here. We're going to click the Save as Custom. And we just did, and we have it here with this test here, unfortunately, but that's irrelevant. Now we're going to rename it as My Custom or my Template or something. Or how about just My Temp? Okay. We now have a reusable template. And let's go back to our media, and let's take our first video down here, and we don't want it to be so long because we want to make our second video right there. And then let's take our second video, and again, you know, like you're at the end, Shift End, and you click the plus sign, it will add it to the end. Again, it's way too long, but we'll do Shift Home, and that moves us to the next video clip. And now we want to apply a new custom template or custom title object to the timeline. So we go to Templates, we go to Custom, and here is my thing. And we're going to just go ahead and I don't think we can drag it on. Maybe we can. No, it doesn't let us drag it down. Let's see if we do this. Oh yeah, so if we have a magnetic timeline, we can drag it down. Interestingly enough, if you didn't have the magnetic timeline turned on, we weren't able to drag it down. We now have a second object. These are no longer the same objects, and I'm going to prove this. And we're going to double click on it, and we're going to change the word back to your title. I didn't mean to hit the Enter key. I just meant to hit the space key. Okay, your title. So now we're going to go back to the timeline, and you can see not only does it say your title, which the first one doesn't say, it says test. So this is your proof that this is how you can make it, you can replicate it. And we have the blend mode preserved, which we didn't get over in the editing presets. So we will all report that to Wondershare. Now, this is great. However, when we go on to the timeline here and we look, we have two of them with the same name. This could be a little bit confusing if you're going to use this 10 or 20 times and you want to go in and find one that you want to change something in there. You've changed the title, but you want to go in and fix it because you spelled something wrong or whatever. And which one was it? And you got to remember the order in which you put them in. So the way to do that is just simply to rename them. Right click and select rename. You can right click there, or you can right click up here, and we'll see second version. You know, whatever you could call it anything. So anyway, when you go to the timeline, you can differentiate between the first one and the second one. I would recommend you do the name. So let's do a little fun here. We got our two titles right here, and on the top one we're just going to write Klaus, and then we're going to click on the second one, and on the bottom one we're going to say Lee. Sorry, Lee, you're the smaller font size. What can I say? Okay. And if we renamed them Klaus and Lee, so like that, so we would just say, we don't have to rename it now this time, but it's just to demonstrate. If you want to see what your original one was called on the timeline, my custom title, and the second one was Klaus and Lee. Oh yeah, that was the one I wanted to change. So here we go. The thing is expanding, and the black is fading, and we're set to go. And we can use it over and over again, not from here, but from our templates. Make sure we go in here and we drag this down.